Last week, Israel attacked Iran, right? It turned into a really intense 12-day war, and the United States got fully involved, going in to help by bombing 3 of Iran's nuclear facilities, completely destroying them. Then Iran said, "I'm going to strike back," and launched missiles at a US military base in Qatar. I was just thinking, like, whoa, what's going to happen now? Things have gotten really intense. We really need to analyze what the economy and financial situation will look like now. At first, I thought I'd just skip over it, thinking the violence would just keep escalating, but it turns out, just 5 hours after Iran attacked the US base in Qatar, right after we finished our analysis, Donald Trump came out and announced a ceasefire. So basically, everything I just wrote, I have to rewrite it all now, right? I'm not here to complain. Just sharing with you, that's all. But I want to say, hey, we're actually kind of lucky that what I analyzed is still useful. Maybe not all of it, but it's still a prediction for what could happen if this war doesn't stop, or if other wars break out. Because what I see right now is that there's a war in the Middle East, and the United States has stepped in to help. So do you want to know more? Whether the United States, at this current moment, does its economic health still possess the financial resources required to provide the necessary funding for another war? You can show your support for this video by scanning this QR code, or you can help out and support the Psy Money Monster channel. Just simply hit that subscribe button right now. Go ahead and hit that button for me, so next time we have a new video, we'll get to see each other again. Now, let's go back and review what happened. The war that broke out was on June 13th. Israel launched an attack on Iran, which resulted in the deaths of high-ranking military officers, scientists, and naval personnel. In just one day, 224 people lost their lives. Then on June 14th, Iran retaliated by firing hundreds of missiles at Israel, specifically targeting Bangkok. A week later, people in Thailand found out. Then, on June 21st, the United States attacked 3 of Iran's nuclear bases. And on June 24th, really early in the morning, like around 4 a.m., Iran struck back at the United States by attacking a US military base in Qatar. That was the day I felt like, yeah, I needed to write something analyzing the financial and economic situation. But then, just 5 hours later, Donald Trump came out and made an announcement. A ceasefire. Honestly, how could you not be worried about what's going to happen with the finances or the economy? Because earlier, Pete, the U.S. Secretary of Defense, came out and said that the United States will reinforce its presence in the Middle East. Whether they join in or not, who knows? But the U.S. is definitely boosting its forces in the Middle East. Donald Trump also said that Iran must surrender unconditionally, and he even threatened that right now they know who Iran's supreme leader is. Ayatollah Khamenei, they know where he is now, they know his location, but they just haven't assassinated him yet. As for Ayatollah Khamenei, when asked if he would surrender, of course he said no. He made it clear that the conflict has already begun, and if the US gets involved or provides support, then Iran will strike back hard. One thing that's really scary is the possibility of closing the Strait of Hormuz, which is the passageway from Middle Eastern oil to the world. About 20% of the world's oil goes through there. So this led to some scary consequences in Thailand as well. I still remember that day, June 23rd. I went out to fill up my tank, and gasohol prices in Thailand went up by 40 satang. When prices go down, ours don't drop. But when they go up, we raise them right along with everyone else. At that time, global crude oil prices shot up sharply, from over $60 to $75 per barrel. Then, when Trump called for a ceasefire, everything calmed down. There was also another issue at that time involving Benjamin Netanyahu, the leader of Israel. He came out and said that the US had to join in the fight together because we have the same enemy. The whole world was focused on Trump, wondering what decision he would make. As for me, when I watched the news, am I interested in war? Yes, I am. I want to know what will happen, whether things will get more intense. But honestly, what I really want to know is how it will affect my money. So I wanted to find out what the United States, which is basically the foundation of the world's financial health, if they end up joining the war too, then what? Can they really handle it? Looking at the current state of the US economy, at that moment I was thinking, if America ends up going to war with Iran too, that's adding another country to the mix. The real question is, does the US still have enough money to pay for another war? And since I'm already making this video, let's talk about it for a bit. Suppose this war doesn't end in a ceasefire and actually drags on even longer. If the United States decides to join the war, like actually support this war too, do they still have enough money to pay for it? Or if it's not this war, but another one pops up and the US says, yeah, I have to get involved, can they really handle it? If you just look at the US economic numbers in a simple way, I think they can't handle it. Or maybe they can if they have some secret card up their sleeve that we can't see. I don't really know, because there are three main reasons that show the US economy is in bad shape. First, the US federal government doesn't have much money left. Not having much money means they're not that rich. In fact, they're in the red. And when you don't have much money, that leads to the second point. Your economic strength is weakened. If we compare the economy and finances to the human body, they're like the skeleton. If your bones are weak or brittle, how can you fight anyone? You can't even withstand blows from the outside if your bones are already low on calcium. It just won't work. And the third point is America's old rivals. Wow, they're all big players, like Russia, for example. The US isn't fighting Russia directly, but it's supporting Ukraine. They're fighting with Russia, which costs a lot of money. And even bigger than that is China. The US isn't fighting China by dropping bombs or anything, but they're attacking each other economically. The trade war is a direct fight with China. So if they add Iran as another enemy to fight, it's like taking on yet another adversary. It doesn't seem like they have enough strength or money to do that. So let's break it down topic by topic. 1, 2, 3. The first point is, does the US federal government really have little money? Let's take a look at the budget we're all familiar with, the US federal budget. And we'll see this number that's been around for a long time, a deficit of 6% of GDP. For the US to have a deficit of 6% of GDP, that's huge. If you compare it to other developed countries, you can see from the OECD numbers that the US government's budget deficit compared to European countries, other developed nations, is more than double. It's actually 3 times higher. And what's even scarier than the US already running a 6% budget deficit is that the deficit is projected to increase to 7%, according to data from the Congressional Budget Office. They say that the $1 billion full will bill from Donald Trump, which was just approved, will authorize an increase in public debt of at least $3.1 trillion over the next 10 years. This is exactly what will cause the US government budget deficit to deepen even further, going from a 6% deficit to even more negative. A 7% deficit, and this amount of debt will push the US debt to GDP ratio even higher than it was during World War II. This is projected to happen in 2029. I've mentioned in several videos already that war is incredibly destructive. It burns through budgets, money, people, countries, land. It destroys everything. And on top of that, there are even more problems piling on. And that's not even all. It just keeps burning everything. There's also data from Watson Institute for International and Public Affairs, which shows that previous wars the US has fought have left a massive debt burden on American taxpayers. For example, the wars in Iraq and Syria are estimated to have cost American taxpayers a combined total of up to $3 trillion. As for the war in Afghanistan, estimates say it cost American taxpayers a total of $2.3 trillion. So then some people ask, hey, maybe the US actually wants to go to war, right? Because it seems like whenever America goes to war, they can raise a lot of funds. The question is, if the US goes to war, can it really turn a crisis into an opportunity to bring in more funding to the country? Historically speaking, you could probably say that's true. Every time the world faced division, chaos, and volatility, like during major wars, Investors would often rush to move their money out of risky assets, like stocks, and into safe haven assets. One of the most widely recognized safe havens is United States government treasury bonds. So that means in the past, and when a war breaks out in the world, it's likely that capital will shift from risky assets like stocks, or nowadays, even things like crypto, into US government bonds. This allows the US to raise funds, invest further in the country, and continue waging war. But hold on, as time changes, the world changes, and people change. So why wouldn't assets change too? US government bonds, which everyone used to say were rock solid, might not be so certain anymore. Because if you look at the yield, the return, on US government bonds right now, the 10-year bonds are almost at 5%. And let me ask you this. When the global economy isn't doing well, why would a supposedly good asset need to offer such a high return? If it were really that solid, why would they have to pay such high interest to get people to buy these bonds? The US dollar has also weakened significantly. Since the start of 2025, it's dropped by 9%. Why would that? Because it's the trade war policies announced by Donald Trump that have caused global free trade to decline. As international trade decreases, what we call deglobalization, the demand to hold US dollars, which are used as the world's medium of exchange, also drops. That's why the value of the dollar has gone down. And when US government bonds offer high returns, it means America's borrowing costs have increased. It means that even if the amount borrowed stays the same, the interest payments are higher. The more the interest increases, the higher the US government's expenses become. This also raises the possibility of defaulting on debt, or what you might call a debt default. That's why the status of US government bonds as a safe haven or a safe asset is now being shaken, really shaken. So even if a war were to break out, it might not actually be an opportunity for the US right now. Because if a war really does break out, money will definitely flow out of risky assets into safe assets. That's the old theory. But now it won't necessarily flow into US government bonds. So if the US tries to escalate a war, it won't lead to a situation where America can easily raise funds domestically anymore. Instead, it'll mean the US will have to borrow even more money to finance the war, which basically pushes the country further into debt. They'd be jumping into an even worse debt crisis. So what should they do? Let's imagine for a moment that we're the United States. If US government bond yields are that high and borrowing money means paying such expensive interest, there's actually another tool to lower borrowing costs by lowering interest rates. Yes, lowering interest rates. But in this case, as we all know, Donald Trump doesn't have the authority to do that. Lowering interest rates is not a policy he can implement by himself. The person who has the authority to lower rates is the chair of the US Federal Reserve, which is Jerome Powell. And Jerome Powell has made it clear that there won't be any interest rate cuts until he's confident that inflation in the US won't come back, 100% sure. If you've been following financial news, you'd know that since late last year, in 2024, Jerome Powell had actually announced that he would cut interest rates. But then, when the US-China trade war under Donald Trump happened, Jerome started to feel unsure about whether inflation would really stay down, so he decided not to cut rates just yet. And if the US were to escalate another conflict, Jerome would be even less confident that inflation wouldn't come back, making him even more reluctant to lower interest rates. But Jerome Powell's term isn't going to last that much longer. Now, moving on to answering the next question. Okay, that's the end of the finance topic. Sorry, it got a bit long. All right, let's get to question number 2. So the question is, well, is the US economy currently unable to withstand any more external shocks? How should we answer this? As I mentioned earlier, the US has already attacked 3 of Iran's nuclear bases, right? And Iran has already responded by attacking a US base in Qatar. But the question is, the attack from Iran to the US? Are we going to see something like a massive explosion going off in America? I don't think it's going to be that extreme. If they were going to launch a bomb, they'd probably target Israel instead. But when it comes to Iran attacking the US, it's actually even scarier than that. It's not just about dropping a bomb on America and being done with it. What they're threatening to do is even more serious. They've come out and threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz. And the Strait of Hormuz it's a narrow strait used to transport oil from the entire Middle East region out to the rest of the world. That means about 20% of the world's oil exports pass through this strait. As soon as that news broke, you could see crude oil prices shoot up from over $60 to $75 before dropping back down because Trump announced a ceasefire. And that day, gasohol prices in Thailand went up too. Gasohol prices in Thailand jumped by 40 satong. Have they come down yet? And there were even forecasts from major banks like JP Morgan saying that if the strait is really closed, crude oil prices could shoot up to $130 per barrel, or some even say it could go as high as $300 per barrel. That would mean people would just stop buying anything. Everything would get insanely expensive. Inflation would skyrocket worldwide because inflation is mainly caused by high oil prices, expensive energy costs, and high electricity bills. When these costs go up, production becomes more expensive, transportation costs rise, and the price of goods follows by a lot. So oil really, it's not just that things would get expensive. There wouldn't even be anything left to buy. Right now, America is already worried about inflation, right? That means the economy isn't ready to take a hit like this at all. And honestly, it's not just America that's unprepared for a shock like this. Thailand isn't ready either. No one is. And the last question, number 3, is America already has direct rivals like China and Russia. Adding Iran to the mix would probably be too much, right? That's absolutely true. Because the US government has already spent a huge amount of money helping Ukraine fight against Russia. Do they really have more money to support a conflict with Iran too? Or take the US trade war with China. Sure, it's a trade war, but it costs a ton of money, and there's been a lot of damage within the United States. China has suffered too. It's not just one side that's hurting. So if the US has to add another war with another country, and Iran is no pushover, they have their own strengths, it's not going to be an easy fight. It could end up that the US might not be able to do anything at all. They might not have enough money, not enough military strength, and even the economy might not be able to handle it. In the end, they might not win on any front. Or maybe all of these actions are really just conspiracy theories, and the United States never actually intended to go to war with Iran. Maybe they just want to cut Israel off. Is that it?